T.O. Blaze.
Hey there, this is Tio bringing another Kerbal Space Program video, and today it's going to be Bob's turn to be the focus of attention. So I've got most of my original crew members to different celestial bodies around Kerbal. They've all planted flags pretty much everywhere except for a few notable exceptions. So Bob, somehow, when I sent the crew to the Jewel system and planted flags everywhere, Bob did not plant a flag on Bop. So got all the way back to Kerbin. Everybody got all their experience except Bob. He's missing one flag planting. So he's going to take the Vulcan on its maiden interplanetary voyage and head over to the Jewel system, like I said, and head over to Bop, plant a flag, and go back to Kerbin. So before I wrap up this career playthrough, I want to get all the original crew members to plant a flag everywhere. So I guess that's going to be my capstone for this career playthrough for KSP1 at least. So for those of you that don't know, KSP2, the early access is right around the corner next month, and I suspect I won't be playing this career mode ever again once that comes out, because it's getting too clunky, and yeah, it's time to retire it. So I want to get all my crew members to plant those flags, and this is a great mission to kill two birds with one stone, so to say. So if you haven't seen the Vulcan video where I launched it and sent it over to Minmus and refueled it, go ahead and check that out. It's going to be on my page from some weeks ago. But this is the ship. I like the look of it. I was mostly going for aesthetics. It's got that little shuttle on the top, which is thrown off the center of mass, probably why there's a little bit of wobble. But the shuttle's not very large, so that's not too bad. The reaction wheels and whatnot are compensating for that pretty well right now. So I've also got a couple, maybe one or two other crew members with Bob. I like, anytime I go to the Jewel system, I like to swap out Kerbals just for fun. So there you see my Jewel encounters getting set up. And I'm not going to put the Vulcan in the orbit of Bop, just because I think I forgot. So that's also why I've got the shuttle. So it doesn't matter where the Vulcan goes. The shuttle can take Bob to his final destination. And the Vulcan is also not going to return to Kerbin in this video. I'll send one of my other return vessels. Usually when I go to when I go to the Jewel system on my career mode, I like to send more than one vehicle at a time, and I can use the maneuver planner and alarms to make sure that I can get everything there safely. In this video, though, I'm just going to send one vehicle, and I'm pretty sure I have a return vehicle already parked somewhere in the Jewel system that I can use. But yeah, the reason for mentioning how I send multiple vehicles, every time I send something to Jewel, I typically do send an empty return vehicle just to have. But there you see I'm circularizing my orbit, and I'm going to go ahead and put Bob into the Vulcan shuttle and release it. I like doing it in EVA mode. It makes it look more cinematic, I guess. And there's the shuttle, playing around with different camera views, and I go ahead and send him over to Bop. I think this looks like Val. So I think it's Val, not sure. And there we go. Getting my transfer out of the sphere of influence of that little moon. I'm going to go ahead and circularize and also match the inclination of Bop, which is highly inclined. So thankfully, I have plenty of fuel in this little shuttle. And now it's just a matter of getting a decent rendezvous without having to burn too much fuel. So yeah, I've got a couple other flag planting missions that I'll be recording for this channel. The whole crew, I think I mentioned this in a previous video, the whole crew needs to go to Moho, I believe, as well as Eve. Eve is going to be the final one, I suspect, because again, on this career playthrough, so damn clunky, so many vehicles flying around, and the physics just it can't handle playing for too long on this career mode. So Eve will probably be my last mission on this career playthrough, my first career playthrough. And that'll be probably the last video of KSP1. I might time that so that it comes out right before KSP2 goes live. So there's my orbital station at BOP, and I'm going to go ahead and dock with it and transfer Bob. See if we've got an available docking port. Yep, got a few. This is partially why my career mode is so clunky. I've got orbital stations around pretty much every planet and moon. I've got satellites, quite a few. I had relay networks set up around every planet and moon until I realized how slow the game was performing, and then I started deleting some of them. But I left them in certain places, like around Jewel, places that I intend to frequent. So look, I accidentally just broke one of those Gigantor solar panels and just went and repaired it. That's actually the name of it, by the way. It's Gigantor. So here's my lander for BOP. BOP's got really, really low gravity, so I've got this ginormous lander that can seat, what is that, 16, I think, or 12 Kerbals. And got some little engines on the bottom, and it's got some wheels. So it's a very unique lander design, but appropriate for a place like BOP, which is very forgiving and doesn't require a whole lot of energy. So go ahead and land. Come to a rolling stop somewhere. Low gravity, so you don't have a whole lot of friction. So might have to time warp here. Yeah, let me just jet up a little bit and go down where the valley is going to get a little more flat, and then that should allow me to stop more better. And there we go. Touchdown again. Pop and get out. Plant the flag. I hope in KSP2 flag planting isn't an experience requirement. To me, just touching the surface is the thing. You don't need to actually stick a flag on the ground, but it is what it is in KSP1. So let's go ahead and get my apoapsis up. Not quite to the station, that way I can catch up to the station. Go ahead and circularize, match inclination, rinse and repeat. This is like, it's like riding a bike. It just comes naturally now. These rendezvous. Rendezvous was the first major challenge that I overcame back in the early days of KSP1 for me. So let's go ahead and dock with my BOP station and transfer to, I guess in this case I'm going to have to transfer back to the shuttle, give the shuttle some fuel. And Pole is actually my final destination in the Joule system. That's where I've got my return vehicles. I've got a huge refueling lander there. So Pole kind of serves as my final pit stop before leaving the Joule system. And I suspect if I were better at doing gravity assists, Pole would be nice, because you could probably get a gravity assist off of Tylo or Val on your way out. But I don't typically use those just because they're not easy. Sometimes I have to use them, like if I'm coming into the Joule system with not enough fuel and I need to save some fuel, I can try to use a gravity brake off of Val or Tylo or something like that, or an aero brake off of Lathe. But yeah, I don't typically do them. So I'm gonna go ahead and get back over to Pole. Now you see I've got a few things in orbit. I've got my main Pole station. I think I've got my refueling lander, and yep, should have a return vessel here at the Pole station that I can use. And I'll just probably leave the Vulcan shuttle here for now. And don't really have any other plans for the Vulcan. It's just a really cool looking ship. Wanted to get it over to Joule. Maybe I'll use it in another video. Not sure. And I wonder if I went through the station. Thankfully, physics time warp was not activated. So. And there's my Pole station. I've got a vessel there with an artificial gravity ring. I've got a few different vehicles parked here. There's a tug, basically just a probe ship with lots of fuel and a grabbing arm. Got a few different things. And there on the top is the return vessel. It's got a nuclear engine, 4 of the liquid fuel tanks. There's a little lander. There's a little engineering module right there. It's got a port with lots of lights and storage, so if you could dock a ship there and do a lot of modifications to it. It's got all the parts and storage you could be using. And that's it for the Pole station. There's my return vessel. really like this design. Like I said, one nuclear engine with 4 of the liquid fuel tanks, and the thrust to weight ratio, and that's is relatively low, but it gives you lots of delta V. So very forgiving ship. You can basically force encounters by burning extra fuel if you need to, which is what I typically do to get back to Kerbin from really far out like this. Returning to Kerbin from places like Moho, Jewel, Elu, and Dress. Yeah, hadn't been Dress in so long, forgetting some of those names. But anyway, returning to Kerbin can be difficult if you don't time your burn correctly and execute it flawlessly. So sometimes just reducing your orbit to near Kerbin's and then circularizing and whatnot will do the trick. So here I am coming into Kerbin. Didn't realize the video was wrapping up, but that's it for Bop and Bop. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you, and hope to see you again real soon.